Good evening and welcome to Tuesday night, Mate to Mate at 8. My name's Craig Turts. I'm the proud co-founder and president of 100 Words Mate and Mate. We are a men's health organisation raising awareness of men's health in this country, which at the moment is at an all-time low. It's there's over 6.5 men taking their own life each and every day in this country, and with what we're all going through with COVID, it's a lot worse than that. So tonight, what we want you to do is tune in. When the poll comes up, we want you to rate your day out of 10. Now, that is one of the rules of engagement. There it is. There's the poll. So as you jump on, rate your day out of 10. Now, we started a campaign about 14 weeks ago now called Mate to Mate at 8, and that's what this show is all about. What we do is mirror a conversation between two mates. Okay, so no longer is it okay to jump on and say, "G'day, mate. How you going?" He says yes. You go. He goes, "How are you?" You say yes. Okay. From now on, the rules of engagement with Mate to Mate are this: you are to ring your mate at 8 and say, "G'day, mate. How's your day been out of 10?" He'll give you a number, okay, and then he'll ask you how your day is out of 10. Now, we've got a heap of people jump on already. Now, we've got some people that are a 10 out of 10, so hats off to you. Well done. We've got people at 9s, 8s, 7s, 6s, and a couple of people at a 5. Those people at a 5, okay, it's okay. It's okay to have a 5. Okay, it's really important to be open and honest. Okay, and we're really glad that you've switched on tonight. And by the end of tonight, we hope to have you up around that 7 or 8 mark at least. Now, I say this each and every week. I am a painter by trade. I'm not a doctor, psychologist, or a psychiatrist. So we are just trying to make a conversation between two mates here at 100 Words Mate to Mate. Okay, that's all we are trying to do. Now, at any stage tonight, if the conversation gets too heavy or you feel as though you need someone to talk to, dial 131114. That is a number for Lifeline. There is always someone there to talk to you. Okay, if you can't get on through them, please ring 0412 310 788. That is my number, and I will answer the call and I will talk to you personally. So tonight, I'm really excited tonight. I've spoken to this man. He's a mate of mine. His name is Dan, and I call him Dan the Chippy. He's in my phone as Dan the Chippy. He's a great bloke. He's a pretty ordinary golfer. A very ordinary golfer. But he's a very, very good chippy. He's a good Carlton man. He's been a Blue for a long, long time, so we have plenty of conversations about that. And Dan was diagnosed at the age of 37 with testicular cancer after limping around for 3 weeks, not doing anything about it. He's got through just only with the help of his beautiful wife, Lisa, Christian, James, and Alicia, his 3 kids. They're an amazing family. And without them, Dan may not have pulled through. And one of the most important things about tonight is this. This here is a loaf of bread. It's really important in tonight's conversation. And it's a big thrill for me to welcome one of my dear mates. G'day, Dan.
Hello, Craig.
Thanks for your time
That's nice. That's a lovely loaf of bread. Like we say, we hope you brought the healthy option. We don't want you to
I have a low
stock
GI.
up Perfect. We don't want you to be eating the wrong things. We need you to look after yourself because you're a really integral part of men's health. So you do a great job.
Thank you, mate. Mate, thank you for your time tonight, Dan. How was your day out of 10 today, buddy?
My day was a 9. Good day, really good day today. I was always really looking forward to this conversation to have with you. Obviously, since the day you gave me the phone call last week, I was really chuffed and really honoured, really, to be able to share my story, to help someone else out in some way. So I was really, really pumped. Really, really excited. And how was your day out of 10? Craig?
I had a pretty good day, mate. I had a slow start to the day, but it ramped up in the afternoon. I had an 8 today. After a pretty ordinary day yesterday, I was a bit flat yesterday. So to have a good day 8 today was nice. And we talked earlier on today. We're both pretty excited about tonight. So, mate, thank you so much for your time. I know this is you don't find this hard to talk about, which is great, and that's really incredible thing, and I know you're doing it to help others. So, Dan, tell us a little bit about, tell the people about Dan.
Well, Dan, what's Dan? Well, Dan's, I consider myself as just an everyday person, everyday bloke, everyday mate, everyday friend, everyday husband, everyday dad, you could say. So, yeah, I'm a chippy by trade. I work with my brother. We've worked together for, a very long time now, probably 15 plus years, I guess. So we work together. So that's been a pretty good partnership. Yeah, obviously, again, married to the beautiful Lisa. The absolute, I think she's the rock. That's definitely the rock of our family. Definitely pulls us all together. She keeps us all in line, that's for sure. So she does an amazing job day in, day out. Going, probably rewinding the clock a couple of years, we were just cruising through our way through life, enjoying our life, and until, unfortunately I got diagnosed with testicular cancer. So it definitely threw a curveball. Personally, was a huge curveball for me, but obviously, this was not all about me. This was about the people that obviously live in these four walls, and it's about the people that I've come across through my journey of life. So, mum and dad, and all the associated family and friends and sisters and all that sort of stuff, because they were part of the journey too, in some way, in some shape or form. So kind of, it rocked us a little bit. We really we had to fight. We had to learn how to fight, and and sometimes when you don't know how to fight, that's sometimes a really hard thing to do, because you've got to learn. You're learning on the run, and unfortunately, sometimes there's no one there to teach you. You've got to literally run your own classroom and teach yourself. So, but yeah, I'm here now, and I'm nearly 2 years in remission, you could say, and I'm hopeful. I'm probably, it takes a while to build back to where you are and to get back to the place that you're at. But I feel like I'm, I don't know, probably about 90% there to back to the Dan that I was, and that's all I ever wanted to be. I only ever wanted to go back to the person that I was, but maybe just a better person as well. Just add a little bit to that. So yeah, we're back on. We're back on the road. We're back on the road.
Mate, let's go back to the day when you were you'd been limping around for 3 weeks because you've got this growth on your testicle, and your brother, who is a great man. I love your brother. He's a star. He's such an honest bloke, and you guys got a great relationship. I've been on plenty of sites where you guys are at, and it's a lot of fun being around you boys. And he's pulled you aside and said, "Mate, why are you limping?" And you've told him. He's like, "Mate, you got to get that checked." And I know Lise was on your back, and mate, why didn't you go and get it checked?
Again, Craig, yeah, I mean, I think as a male, we sometimes you live in a bit of denial. You live in the hope that it's not happening to you, and you kind of think to yourself, "Oh, it's not right. It's just a bit of a, cyst or a bit of a lump. It'll go away." It's always the mind is always easy to say that to you, to say, "Oh, it's okay. You'll fine, Dan. It's just a little growth." But I got to the point where I was at work, and I'd obviously mentioned it to Rob a few times, that my brother, that I was had something down there that obviously didn't feel quite right, and he told me many a time, better go and get yourself checked out, or go and get yourself looked at, because these things, sometimes something very sinister turns out to be really, really serious. And obviously, then obviously at home with my wife, Lisa, she, the same sort of thing, I've told her a few times about it, and, she was harping on my back. You better go and get it checked. And I think it got to right near the end, and she pretty much demanded or told me in no uncertain fashion that you better go. So, yeah, that Saturday morning, I went to the doctor, and that probably changed my life. That Saturday morning.
How big was it? How big was it?
It was probably the size of about a 10-cent piece. In the sense of, it was quite distinctive. You really knew that it was there. It wasn't something that it would go away. It was certainly something that was there. So, again, you always think that it probably isn't serious, but and you probably your mind is not in the mindset to think of that, because I was probably not educated in knowing what to look for. I probably didn't think any worse of what it could be. So,
But mate, you've got something this big hanging off the side of your testicles. Did you not think, fuck, that's not right? I said to you this the other day, and I mean this. If that was hanging off the side of your nose or your ear, you would have got it taken off. Because people would have gone, hey, mate, that thing on the side of your head's getting bigger. You better go do something about it. So was it the fact that it was on your testicle and you didn't want to, as a bloke, you just didn't want to talk about it? Was that a huge part of it? The fact that it was, part of your private region versus if it was growing on the side of your head, you just do something about it.
Definitely.
Is that a factor?
Yeah, definitely, Craig. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, when it's the private part of your body. I guess it's the place where it's not something that you go and flaunt and you go and show it out in the street. Yeah, it's something that can't be seen in that regard. So, in that way, yeah, definitely. Especially when it's in that region, you kind of think to yourself, yeah, I really can't really say nothing here. I'm a bit embarrassed. I'm a bit embarrassed to say anything because, you kind of think to yourself, I really don't want anyone looking or touching or going down there, because it's not something that you kind of just prance around and do. So it was definitely something that, I was embarrassed about, and I can openly say that, but you've got to try and look beyond that. And yeah, that's what we try and that's why we're having this conversation, Craig, because it's not embarrassing and it's not something to be ashamed about. It's a serious issue, and it's something that you have to have looked at. And you know what? In 90% of the cases of testicular cancer, your outcome is really, really good. So yeah, there's a moment that there's times that you're scared, but there are ways through. There are ways through with the right support and the right people around you. There's ways through. So
as you diagnosed at 37, statistics show that most of the time it happens between the age of 18 and 28, I believe, is the area of the age group that men generally get that. So at 37 years of age, you think you're through the worst of it, and you don't even give it a second thought that might even be what might be coming your way. So how are you when you're sitting there and the doctor says, at least, and the doctor says, hey, mate, you've got cancer of the testicles?
I was devastated. I was actually alone, Craig, when I got told.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I was actually alone. I was obviously not thinking that it was anything serious. I got a phone call from the GP. Obviously, I went to go and see the GP first, and I had an ultrasound and all that sort of stuff. And he said, best you come in, we need to have a chat. So obviously, again, the mind doesn't think that it's that in that way. You obviously, when you don't know the symptoms, you don't know, what to look out for, you kind of think to yourself, oh, it'll be okay. I'll just go and get the results. So I was, sitting in the doctor's rooms, and he kind of broke it. He broke it to me, and I was just started crying. I literally started crying. I was in utter shock I was in utter shock. I take my hat off. It wasn't the regular doctor I see as well. It was it was an offsider. So he was fantastic. He goes, Dan, I'll make all your appointments now. Do you need to speak to anyone? Do you need to ring anyone? There was no push out. He goes, I'm just going to leave you in this room if you want. You can have 5 minutes. If you need anything, yell out. And I was just devastated. I really was, Craig. I was just utterly devastated. So I rang Lee straight away and obviously told her the news, and I was just in disbelief. I really was. I was driving home from the doctor to home. I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I could not believe that from Saturday to Monday, in 3 days, your life is turned on its head, literally. And you don't know what the next day is going to bring, literally. So it was devastating. It was devastating. It really was.
And mate, you're a really positive, upbeat guy, and I can imagine coming home and seeing Lise for the first time must have been so hard, mate. And trying to explain to the kids, because you come from a family that's quite, it's sort of a closed shop, isn't it? It was sort of not something you talk about a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, through my upbringing, we didn't show, we didn't have those open conversations. We've had this, I was brought up fantastically. I was brought up with respect, morals, love. There's no doubt about that. There was probably one element that we probably didn't have, and it was that, and that was having those conversations, and that was being open. If we had a problem, if we had an issue, to talk about it, we kind of just let it go in silence. And like I said, I don't fault the way I was brought up. I think I've been brought up to be a fantastic man. There's no doubt about that. But there was those little things, to have those conversations with your kids, with your wife, they have to be had. We can't, you can't shut yourself down, because that's when you get yourself into a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, going back to that day, obviously with, I was literally, Lisa went to go and pick up the kids from school that day. And I actually got home before her, and I saw her turn down the street, and I was just still sitting in the car, crying. And she got out. The kids, we didn't tell the kids straight away, Craig, in that regard. We thought that we needed to find out more information first, and get ourselves right before we try to unsettle them in any way. We want, as you're a dad, Craig, you protect your children as much as you can, and you will protect them all the way. So we went through a stage there where we thought, we'll protect them from the initial. There's going to be a time they're going to hear conversations on the phone. Kids aren't silly; they know what's going on. They're going to hear conversations that are had. They're going to hear the dreaded cancer word somewhere in a conversation. They're going to find out, but we just weren't ready at that. I couldn't tell them that day. I needed to galvanise myself, and I needed to get more information on how I could battle this, and then we would tell them. But not at that time wasn't right. But yeah, it was quite emotional that day. It was really emotional.
Now, from that point on, Lisa has been absolutely phenomenal. And support of the rest of your family, and your neighbour George next door, I know, is a massive help. And we talked the other day about the friends and family from school, and there's one it gets me every time. There's a story about a loaf of bread, and mate, I swear to you, I tell this story once a week because pretty ordinary stories, and just tell everyone how important that loaf of bread was to you every day.
Absolutely. Let me start with Lacey's amazing.
Incredible.
I'll finish that. She was just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And still is. And still is.
There's no words. I actually can't say anything because there's no words to actually to do that justice. But back to the loaf of bread. Obviously, going through chemotherapy. That was a challenge. That was a battle on itself. So, coming home and worrying about what to cook and what to feed the kids and stuff like that, because those day-to-day things don't stop. You need to continue living your life. Yeah, the kids still went to school. We tried to keep that really normal for them. We tried not to unsettle them in any way, shape or form. So that still happened. But the bread story is, the bread is just one thing. There was many things, but the bread was, there was a sign that sort of stuff was left at our front door, Craig, yeah? Bread, packs of donuts, fried rice, pasta, soups, sausage rolls, anything imaginable. It was like a 5-star restaurant in here sometimes. What we had to choose from to feed ourselves was unbelievable. And that was from people just leaving that stuff at our front door, knowing that we were going through a really, really tough stage. And all it took was for someone to think of you for 5 minutes of their day. It didn't take much. It was, just, I wonder how Dan and Lisa are going today. And what can I do just to make their day just a little bit easier? And to come home from 5 hours of chemo, sitting in a chair, and Lisa would be by my side every one of those days. And to see things left at the front door, when you didn't have to worry about dinner or worry about cooking and stuff like that, just those small gestures made our life just that little bit easier. And, that sort of stuff is priceless. People think of you when people rise, Craig. People rise. In adversity, people rise. And a lot of people rose. They stepped up to the plate. And they should be really proud of themselves for doing that, because it takes a lot. Because sometimes we can really live our lives, really do our day-to-day thing and just run our life and just let it run its course. But to do something selfless for someone else, that should be the most satisfying thing that you can do. And like I say, people weren't leaving stuff here looking for a reward or looking for a thank you or looking for anything of that. They just left it because they wanted to help and be supportive of us. So, yeah,
I remember you told me
that still to this day really makes me emotional. It really does. That stuff there is it just brings a shiver down my spine. It does.
It ends up, as I said, I explain this all the time. It ends up being a communication tool. Essentially, it's very hard having had people go through what you went through. A lot of people don't like that face-to-face. So there's always text messages and emails and Facebook now and stuff like that. But to do that and not once, correct me if I'm wrong, not once did someone leave a note saying from such and such, there'd be donut kids. So the kids would come home, they'd be ecstatic because there'd be, junk food galore. But I
Yeah.
remember the day you told me that you thought, I wonder who this person is who's leaving this stuff. And you got up and you waited and you went, no, I can't do it. They don't want me to know.
Yeah, and that's true, Craig. That's right. Sorry, there's many times I was just sitting on the couch, minding my own business, just probably watching Carlton reruns or probably learning how to hit a 300-yard drive off probably some Google forum. But yeah, I'd sit on the couch and sometimes Lisa would go, oh, so-and-so texted me and said they've left something at the front door. And I said, how can that be? I'm sitting literally 2 meters away from the front door. I haven't heard a thing. I haven't heard any footsteps. I haven't heard it, nothing. It was like silence. And she'll go, just get up and can you just get up and have a look and check? And I'd get up and peek through the front door and there'd be something there. But I'd go, how can that be? I haven't heard a thing. But again, sometimes people find that as an avenue to say, we're thinking of you. It doesn't mean, you don't have to pick up the phone. You don't, these are all things that we can do to show our support. And the simple thing of leaving things at the front door was a gesture of support. And I guess, and that's gratifying to us because we knew that there was someone thinking of us. And that was fantastic.
And the footy club, mate, they rallied behind and took James, didn't they? Took James and met all these Western Bulldog heroes and got jumpers signed. And the coach there, I can't remember his name, but he rallied around and he was an amazing man. Amazing,
Craig. This is another story that is really emotional. Obviously, as you grow and your kids grow, you affiliate yourself with footy clubs and netball clubs and basketball clubs and all that sort of stuff. And as a kid, I never had that opportunity, so I never had that camaraderie, you could say, with footy club. But obviously, with my kids, I want them to experience that. So so one night, obviously, was again going through the chemo stage, and I wasn't in a great state, and Lise obviously was my carer, but the footy club, I'm going to shout out the footy club. It's the Bulleen Templestowe Junior Football Club. One of the coaches there, I won't name names. There's probably a couple of coaches involved, but I won't name any names. Caught wind that the Western Bulldogs players were at a pub at Lamaro's Hotel, I think, in South Melbourne, and knowing that my son unfortunately barracks for the Western Bulldogs, which I'm still not really happy about. But anyway, that's another story. That he supported the Dogs, and that they knew that the Dogs players have dinner there on a Tuesday night. Every Tuesday night, the Dogs players go there for a dinner. So the coaches took it upon themselves to obviously get in contact with Lise and say that, would like to bring James. Obviously, you, Dan, and you can't bring him because obviously you've got your own things going on, but they'd like to bring James. And my other son Christian went too, but he couldn't give a stuff about the Western Bulldogs. But and they literally came to our front door and picked up the boys. They had dinner there. They had their little cordials and stuff like that, and the players were there, and they got him a Western Bulldogs Guernsey. And, he got it signed with all his favourite football players and got his photos. And, I stayed up that night waiting for him to come home, or for both of them to come home, but, and the look on his face was absolutely priceless, Craig. It was priceless. I couldn't give him that, but someone else did it for me and did it for us. Yeah. And they showed again that, it was only a small gesture. They went out of their way, Craig. They could have easily just not done anything. It could have been an easy, but, a couple of guys got together and go, no, we'll make these boys' day. We'll make these boys' day. And they did. And he's still got that jumper around his, around his bedhead there. And he loves his dogs. He really loves his dogs. And I'm rapt that he went that night. I couldn't bring him, but someone did.
It's amazing that I love that story. And the choice that people make, people have got a choice to go down and get bread and get donuts, and they've got a choice about organising something for the boys. And it's a good choice to make. It is a good choice to make. And hearing that empowers people to do stuff like that. Because inevitably, at the age we all are, we're all going to go through shit, and our friends and family are going to go through shit, and we need to be there for them, and that's one way. The one that gets me as well is you obviously had some really, really dark times, and I remember you telling me one of the things you used to do was stand in the room. Tell people about that. What you used to imagine when you stood in the room, shut your eyes.
Yeah, obviously, you don't, when you're 37 years old, Craig, you kind of think to yourself, you've got all to live for still. You're young. You're still a young pup. For me, I feel like I finished year 12 last week. I seriously do. I feel like I'm so young still. So yeah, you sit in those room. You sit in the room, obviously, when you're going through what you go through and the battles that you have, and you close your eyes and you kind of think to yourself, well, it's not time. It's not time yet. I can't give up. I can't give up. I've got to keep fighting here. I've got to keep fighting. I've got a reason to fight. I've got everything to live for. I've got to find a way. And it was bloody tough. It was dark, because when you associate that dreaded word, that hideous disease that takes so much of our loved ones, so much of our friends, it does. It takes you thousands upon people, and we are touched by it in some shape or form. We are. But yeah, you think to yourself, my God, am I closer to the end than I really am? This might be it. This might be my calling. I'm done. Yeah. So definitely dark, really dark space, because that association, that word in society, there's not a lot of positive around that word, Craig. Yeah. There's not a lot of positive around that word. And it really, it drags you down. It drags you down. It really does. It really drags you down.
So the bit that we talked about when you stand in the room, and I think this is really, really important for people there's so many people out there pushing shit uphill at the moment and really, really struggling on so many different levels. And I think I really wanted to touch on this tonight because it's a really important thing to do, okay?
Yep.
Tell people what you used to do when you'd stand in the middle of the room and shut your eyes. Who would you think of?
Wow. Who would I think of? Well, there's obviously my wife and my kids would obviously be forefront. Absolutely. You think of everyone associated with you, Craig. Everyone you've met on your journey to some extent. You meet a lot of people through your journey, and you kind of think of all those people. You think about all the good times and all the stuff that you've achieved. You think about what you want to achieve, what you want to see in your life. You want to see. I want to see my kids finish grade 6. I want to see my kids kick their first goal. I want to see my kids get their driver's license. I want to be that person. So, you think of all those people, then all those things, and you kind of think to yourself, it galvanizes you to really, pretty much find a way to get through what you've got to get through. And knowing that if I get through this, we're going to have a bloody good time as well. Don't worry about that. We're going to have a great time. So you think of that and you think to yourself, well, I want to party still. I want to keep going. I've got a lot of things to do. I want to go and sit around a campfire. I want to play around the golf. I want to take the kids on a bike ride. Just simple things. Yeah, simple things, but really important things. And they're all things I want to achieve still. I still want to do that stuff. I do it, and I love it. I love being around people. I really, we all have a laugh. I find myself as a jovial person. I shit stir, I give and I take. I can do that. So I feel like, yeah, let's go. Let's keep dancing. The music hasn't stopped yet.
That's a great attitude. We talked yesterday too about life is like driving on a sealed road, nice and flat, and you got your foot flat to the floor, and then suddenly there's an arrow that says we're going this way, and it's fucking bumpy, and it's not comfortable, but you've got to go there to get back to the sealed road, and that's what happened. Yeah,
definitely. I think one of my mates told me that one actually, and he actually said to me, Dan, look, you're gonna have to take a bit of. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to take a bit of a detour. You're gonna have to get off the freeway. As much as the freeway is such a really smooth road, and it's great, and you can just tick along, you're gonna have to take a little bit of the bumpy road, unfortunately, and it's gonna might get a bit messy. It might get a little bit dirty, and it might be really hard. But you'll get back on the main road. You will. And you'll jump back on that freeway and you'll continue your journey through life. That's what it is. It's a journey. Your life is a journey. You've got to embrace the moments. And yeah, I took that really uncomfortable road, and my family took that uncomfortable, really crappy road. But we got back onto We've gotten back on the freeway. I couldn't say we're doing 120, but we're building. We're building to that. Yeah, we're doing about 90, I reckon, but we're going to build to about 120. So, they're cliches, but they're true.
I think it's a really important message because, as I said, there's so many people going through some really shit times, and I think, would it be fair to say one of the ways, and clearly this is the way in which you got through a tough time, was to just stop and think about all the people that had you back? And I think we could do that. All of us could do that from time to time. Is just stop and envisage in our minds all those people that love us and support us and would be there for us if we rang or opened up. And I think you'd be amazed at how many people we all know that would do that for us. So just taking some time, because it's so helter-skelter and hectic at the moment. Was there any other things that you would suggest to people to do when it gets just really shit and tough like that?
Yeah, you know what? It does get shit and it does get tough, but don't lose faith. And the thing was, I always thought there was the invisible army behind me. And that's how I kind of put it, the invisible army, that I'd look over my shoulder, I wouldn't see anyone, but I'd know that there'd be someone there, or there'll be 50, 100 people there looking out, not just for me, but looking out for my family. And that was, I guess, you've got to have faith in that, because people do rise, and even though you feel like you're doomed and, things aren't going your way and stuff like that. And you can get really down on yourself, and it's really easy to do that. It's really easy to get down on yourself, but have a bit of faith, because someone will always step up, and someone will always have your back. Just someone will come to the fore, Craig, and someone will look out for you. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I felt that, knowing that the invisible army was there. It was there, and I knew it was there. And that's what gets you through. And yeah, you just got to just have hope and have faith, and things will turn.
Mate, thank you so much for coming on tonight and sharing that. I know you you find it easy to talk about because it helps you, and all you want to do, and I know you really well, is you just want to help other people. And I'm sure anyone who's tuned in tonight will get a hell of a lot out of that. So, mate, on behalf of myself and mate, there's people just chiming in here going, so Dan, well done, mate.
Yeah,
there'll be people everywhere, mate, and you know who they are, and they're so proud of the way you have conducted yourself, and you, my friend, are blessed beyond belief to have a wife like Lise.
Oh, unbelievable.
She, unbelievable. What an amazing woman, and you are so lucky to have her, and you know that, and I know you tell her all the time, and yeah, hats off to her, and hats off to you, mate, for having the strength to come on and deal with what you've dealt with, and you do it with a smile on your face, mate. You're an absolute inspiration, and on behalf of myself, Waltzy, and all the boys at 100 Words, of which you are a founding member of 100 Words,
yes,
mate, and we couldn't be happier to have you on board. So thank you so much for your time tonight, and I loved having you on, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Yet again, yeah. Lise is the rock. She's the foundation of this house. But yeah, she's everything. But also, thank you to you as well. You have been a great support to me. I always, that day when I think I'll just do a quick story when I finished chemo, and I obviously came to, I rang up and just wanted to have a chat and see where you're working, and just to see, because I probably hadn't seen you for a while, and you said, I'm just working down close by your house. And I thought, I'll duck down, I'll grab some coffees, and I'll come down. And came down, and we had a really good chat, and we spoke about pretty much everything that we spoke about today, and, the bread story and all that sort of stuff. So hats off to you. You are an amazing man. You've done an amazing job yourself and all the other founding members of 100 Words, mate to mate. You've done an absolutely tremendous job. You should be very, very proud of yourself, Craig, because I am. I'm proud of you. You've done an amazing job. And if we can go out there and change the life of one person, we've done our job, Craig. And again, you are a fantastic man. You're a top bloke. You're loved. You are a fantastic father. You're a larrikin. We've had some great laughs. We've had some great stories. We've been on golf trips, but I can't thank you enough. You are a legend, mate. You are a legend.
Thank you, mate. That's really nice of you to say. And mate, it's guys like you, and guys, every week we have someone on who's inspiration, and it takes so much courage for them to come on and open up and tell their story. And 100 Words mate to mate is only as good as the people that we're involved with, and being involved with someone like you, mate, it's a real honour for us. So thank you.
Thanks, Craig. No, thank you so much. And yeah, thanks again for having me on and letting me share a little bit of my story. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully if someone can take 5% of what I said and take it with them, it hopefully makes their day better tomorrow and makes their life a bit better in the long run. That's what we strive to do.
Well, mate, I hope you have another 9 out of 10 tomorrow. Get on the phone and ring a mate of yours tomorrow night. Ask them how the day's been out of 10.
Yep.
And thanks again, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Craig. Have a great night. Pleasure.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Dan.
See you, mate. Bye-bye.
See you, bud. Hey, great having him on. He's an emotional beast, and I love having him on. And he's got a really amazing story. I hope you got something out of that. There's always something you can do for someone else. You just got to stop and think about what it might be. And there's always someone looking out for you. So these times, as I said, are really shit and really tough. Just stand there in the room and close your eyes and think of the amazing amount of people that you've got behind you. Okay, there'll always be someone there. So, as I do every week, on behalf of myself, Waltzy, who produces the show, and the board members of 100 Words and all the founders, a huge shout out to Shelley Wood from Splice Communications, who's an amazing lady who does so much work for us. We love you, Shelley. Thank you. To Brett Phillips, who a dear friend of mine who runs the only tennis show in this country, The First Serve, does an amazing amount of work in the tennis community and does an amazing amount of work for us. Thank you, Brett. And to Matt Atkin, who's a board member at 100 Words, who runs Atlas Equipment Finance and Atlas Brokers, who is an amazing man and does a lot for us as well. And for the team, I just want to read you a message here. Hi, Craig. You don't know, but we are friends of Dan's and Lisa's family. Thank you. It was amazing. From John and Sandra. So thank you to them, because I know they did a lot for family as well. Talika, you're an amazing woman, Lisa. Well done, Lisa. Really good job. Next week we've got a dear friend of mine. Who's a ex-professional golfer, Anthony Brown, who's an amazing man, been through a hell of a lot, and he's going to come on the show next week. So I'm really looking forward to talking to Dan. To Dan. How am I going tonight? To Anthony Brownie. Really looking forward to that. So look forward to seeing you next week. I hope you got something out of tonight. I know I did. Take care of yourselves. Hope tomorrow's at least at 8, 9 out of 10. For those people who are 5 at the start of a show, I hope you're a lot better now. We'll see you next week. Have a good week. See ya.